Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you. That's depending where you are in the world. We're here live in London doing the nighttime devotion from the new devotional Christ Triumphant by Ellen White. The third day in the new year. The title is Perfect in Thy Ways. Ezekiel 28:15. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. So long as all created beings acknowledged the allegiance of love, there was perfect harmony throughout the universe of God. It was the joy of the heavenly host to fulfill the purpose of their Creator. They delighted in reflecting His glory and showing forth His praise. And while love to God was supreme, love for one another was confiding and unselfish. There was no note of discord to mar the celestial harmonies. But a change came over this happy state. There was one who perverted the freedom that God had granted to his creatures. Sin originated with him who, next to Christ, had been most honored of God and was highest in power and glory among the inhabitants of heaven. Lucifer, son of the morning, was first of the covering cherubs, holy and undefiled. He stood in the presence of the great Creator, and the ceaseless beams of glory enshrouding the eternal God rested upon him. Little by little, Lucifer came to indulge the desire of self-exaltation. Though all his glory was from God, this mighty angel came to regard it as pertaining to himself. Not content with his position, though honored above the heavenly host, he ventured to covet homage due alone to the Creator. Instead of seeking to make God supreme in the affections and allegiance of all created beings, it was his endeavor to secure their service and loyalty to himself. And coveting the glory with which the infinite Father had invested in his Son, this Prince of Angels aspired to power that was the prerogative of Christ alone. To dispute the supremacy of the Son of God. This impeaching, thus impeaching the wisdom and love of the Creator had become the purpose of this Prince of Angels. To this object, he was about to bend the energies of that mastermind, which, next to Christ's, was first among the hosts of God. But he who would have the will of all his creatures free left none unguarded to the bewildering sophistry by which rebellion would seek to justify itself. Before the great contest should open, all were to have a clear presentation of his will, whose wisdom and goodness were the spring of all their joy. Perfect in thy ways. So this, and I didn't read that well, and I apologize. Perfect in thy ways is referring to Lucifer, son of the morning. He was, other than the angel Michael, who was the angelic form of the Christ, Lucifer was the greatest of all the other angels, other than Michael. Michael was the only archangel. Don't go by what the Catholic Church say by angel Gabriel, the archangel Gabriel. That's not biblical. That is nowhere in the Bible. Michael was the only archangel. But Lucifer was next when it came to power and authority. He was the most beautiful. He was the most talented, gifted. He could sing like a choir. He was the first of the covering cherubs. And yet, as it says here, he was not content with his position or the honor. And he wanted to exalt himself higher than Michael and higher than God the Father as well. To the point, now we don't know over what time frame, but he was warned and warned and warned and warned again by God. Humble yourself. And yet each time he grew more jealous of Michael and of God, of the glory and the honor that they received from all the other angels. And he began lying to the other angels about God. But I'm sure we'll cover that in further devotions. So perfect in no ways, he was created perfectly. And yet he wasn't content. We are created perfectly. Yet, are we content? Are you?